You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Glad to be here with you. Thankful that you're here with us. It's going to be a great show today. It's our Climate Friday, talking about the real science in climate. So if you're interested in what real science is and not what you're going to hear all over the place in mainstream news or in university, it's real scientists, actually renowned scientists, award-winning scientists, actually breaking down what our real climate situation is. So we'll have that a little bit later as part of our ongoing efforts to bring you real climate news, not skewed climate news, each and every Friday, going back to that again, just so that way we can set some records straight and really understand the world of climate that we live in these days. There's so much out there, and you want to make sense of it, right? Look, do you want to know the truth or not? Do you want to know the truth? That's it. That's it. Don't we want to know the truth? Isn't that where everybody, it's kind of like, what do you want out of life? Don't you want to be happy? Isn't that really what everybody is looking? If you're depressed, it just means you're not happy. So really everyone's looking to be happy. Everyone's in that together. Something we also share is, I think we all don't want to be lied to. I really think that's really what it comes down to. We just all don't want to be lied to. And let's really talk about that. So here you have myself, and Nick Gervais will be joining us a little bit later. We'll be talking about that very thing as we, go through the weather very quickly, a little bit of the sports update. The Wolves played last night, and we'll have a little bit on what happened there with their fourth game of the second round of the playoffs against the North Bay Battalion. We have a statement from Dario Zulich about the new event center that was announced this week on Tuesday, that they're going ahead and building a new arena. So we'll have that and more, and then a couple news headlines from our, what's going on locally. We'll ask Nick how she feels about the speed cameras that are going up, the new Facebook page that's just devoted entirely to speed cameras. And if she's not already on there, I'm sure she's going to want to join that group. So let's dive right in, and we'll be back with that and more right after this. As soon as I grab the right mouse, because I have 3 of them. And as usual, your Sudbury weather is brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. 4 degrees currently. There's a mist. There was a mist yesterday, too, as I was out with my grandson for a good chunk of the day. I was like, this is an interesting mist all day. Today, periods of rain ending early this afternoon, then a mix of sun and cloud with 40% chance of showers. Fog patches dissipating this morning. Wind will be gusting up to 50 kilometers in the morning and 60 late this afternoon. So a little windy today. Tonight, partly cloudy. 40% chance of rain showers or flurries early this evening. Hence the wind, right? Brings in another front. So 30% chance of flurries overnight. Wind will still be gusting up to 60 kilometers per hour. Low of -1. And then Saturday, tomorrow, 30% chance of flurries in the morning, then 30% chance of rain in the afternoon. So I have 7. So this is a mixed bag of not too great of weather. We originally were promised totally sunny on Sunday as of yesterday, but I guess that's changed. 30% chance of flurries and showers tomorrow. And then Sunday, chance of rain or flurries, 40% chance. And then Monday, mix of sun and cloud. Rain or snow on Tuesday, 60% chance. And then sunny and sunny, which never happens very often. Anyways, and that doesn't happen very often where we get sun. We've had, I think, 4 days of sun so far since January, and so we'll see if that happens. And again, here's your satellite. Look at it. Just a bunch of clouds and precipitation activity right over the populated areas of Northern Ontario, Timmins, Sudbury, North Bay. And there you go. That's your Sudbury weather, brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. We'll be back with a sports update, Nick Gervais, and more right after this. Your Sudbury Wolves played Game 4 of the second round of the OHL playoffs yesterday. And they lost 5-0 in Game 4, in which they haven't won a game yet in that series. And so they lose the series 4-0, and they're out of the playoffs. And we do not have any more hockey in Sudbury in terms of OHL this year. The season is done. They got off to a bad start, 2-0. Vondras was in net for the first period. And then right away in the third, I think North Bay got a goal on the first shot of the game. Second period, again, goal right away. So it was 3-0. They pulled Vondras with 3 goals, only on 6 shots. And then Vandenberg came in net, never allowed a goal for the rest of the game, but the Sudbury Wolves weren't able to score. And they ended up losing the game 5-0 because North Bay got 2 empty net goals. So their season is done. But Dario Zulich released a statement concerning the new downtown arena. He said, this tremendous news for our community. More than just a hockey arena, the event center will serve as a beacon, drawing tourists from all over Northern Ontario to the heart of our city. Currently, our sports teams bring approximately 200,000 visitors downtown each year. With this state-of-the-art facility, we anticipate that the number could increase to 300,000. Just for hockey and basketball events alone. Moreover, with the addition of more entertainment options, along with conferences and conventions, we expect over 500,000 visits to our downtown annually. This development is not just fantastic news for downtown Sudbury, but a monumental stride forward for all Northern Ontario. It will truly strengthen Sudbury's position as the center of northeastern Ontario, enhancing our ability to engage, unite, and inspire the entire region through sports and entertainment. I have already contacted the OHL to express our interest in hosting the Memorial Cup and World Junior Games right here in Sudbury. This facility will be the crown jewel of our arenas in the OHL and CHL, setting the gold standard for decades to come. Dario Zulich. That's your Sudbury Sports, brought to you by SudburySports.ca. We'll be back with Nick Gervais, your comments, news headlines, a deep dive into climate change, and more right after this. Okay, so we do have a Nick, and we are going to allow her mic to work. So good morning, Nick. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm good.
So what do you got for us today, Nick?
Oh,
I just did that as a joke. We didn't have anything planned where Nick was going to come on and say anything in particular. We don't need her to do that. We're just here to have a conversation along with all y'all on Sudbury's campus and community radio station and Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So make sure to comment so Nick and I could have a conversation with you. And
but next time I will have a story. I'll be like, well, reporting from the basement of Nick's house. So we'd like to talk about this.
Yes.
But there's just so much going on now. It's just kind of crazy. Just everything is just nonsense. And,
Isn't it everywhere too? Like everywhere. It's kind of interesting.
It's just everywhere. It's just nonstop. And
I had a clip from Justin Trudeau talking about the new budget and how great Canada is and how in great shape we are and how much they care about our future and how much they want to invest in us and just how great everything is. And Chrystia Freeland too, just how great everything is in Canada. And a reporter asked her, so do you think you're going to give people a break on the carbon tax on gas? Because it just went up 14 cents. In Sudbury, it's 180 something right now. And she went on to give a 4-minute answer, and didn't even answer the question.
This is what they do.
It's crazy.
This reminds me of downtown Sudbury when they just have all these advertisements about downtown Sudbury, how it's such a great place. And I'm like, have you been downtown? It's like, hey, politicians, have you seen the country? Have you seen what's going on? And right now, a lot of people are getting Revenue Canada is calling everybody about like the money that you got during COVID.
The
And if you
CERB?
don't have, the CERB. So a lot of people having to pay that back.
Yeah.
And like they legit thought that they were allowed to this income because they lost, like they owned a
Businesses?
home daycare or a business or whatnot, and they were told that they were eligible. And
Yeah.
now they're like cranking on them. And it's just like, let's just keep sending billions of dollars to Ukraine and Israel and all these other countries, but like our own people are starving. Oh, but then if I don't really know the whole thing about mortgages, but what it looks like is just like, but if you're a Muslim, we're going to set you up with a mortgage.
Yeah.
It's just nonsense. It's just like
Weird
it's just
stuff.
really frustrating. And then these cameras is just hilarious. They all have names. I don't know if they all have names, but I believe the one in the valley, Confed, has a name.
Rudy.
Yeah, Rudy.
In front of Confed. And then the Garson one was just missing in action there a couple days ago. I guess they have one back now, but it was totally missing. It's gone. I was going to make a sign, the ones that when they're looking for people or a cat or a dog.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Missing, and put the camera box in the picture.
Right.
If you've seen this camera box, report it to authorities. Anyways, yeah, so it is an interesting thing, but just imagine, the kind of condition we're in Canada. So we just came through the pandemic, right? So you were told you couldn't run your business, or you had to lose your job if you didn't go along with what everyone was telling you had to do against your will in order to keep your job. And if you didn't do that, you lost your job. So let's say you lost your job. Okay. Well, you had to find another job. Well, that's not an easy thing to do, as we all know, anyone who has a job or a business. And then you come back into it, and then you find inflation. So food at the grocery store, we were talking about prices yesterday at work. So like just say a thing of lunch meat, let's say. Before the pandemic, it would have been $2. But now it's five or six, $5.50 or $6. Yeah. So it's doubled and a half. So 2.5 times more than what it cost before. But we're not making 2.5 times more in our incomes, but our cost of living, like look at the price of gas before the pandemic, let's say 130-ish, 129, 130. So now 180 something.
I feel like it's going to go up because I've seen it at 180. So I feel like this is just the beginning of the storm. Because remember, it was almost $2 at one point.
That was the plan. Like we knew their plan in order to really push the electric vehicle agenda and whatever was get the gas to $2.
But if you have an electric vehicle, Aaron, you can't park it in your garage because it catches on fire. So insurance is not going to insure you. Yeah. So that's awesome.
And you can't even plug it in at your home because you need an elaborate electrical system set up that.
You can pay someone to set it up. My friend down the street has a couple.
But what does that mean? It's a cost. Like so they're all saying it's cheaper, right? So you pay more for your car because it's supposed to be cheaper on gas, and then you can't park it in your garage, like you said, because it won't be insured. Your house won't be insured anymore because the cars have a higher chance of lighting on fire.
Then you got to pay to get fire. You are wasting way more tons and tons and tons of water just to extinguish it. It's way worse for the environment.
Yeah, and electricity, like your electricity bill. How much is that going to be if you're charging your car at home? And
if they want to kill you, they're just going to lock you in the car and then drown you. Like just bring the car into a lake.
Yeah, it's got the GPS and everything, and it's totally remote control.
I don't trust that car at all.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like we're going down that road as Canadians, though, in our unicorn lollipop world of utopia with what this government is telling us. This new communistic, beautiful world.
I saw. There's an elevator that looks like the Jetsons. And we thought that elevator would have been around way sooner. Anyway, they're now creating like this elevator for your house. And it just looks like this round sphere thing of an elevator. It just looks like the Jetsons. But anyways, I thought that was really funny. But I saw these videos about these kids. They're like raising awareness at their school. They're done with these furries. And these furries are like biting them and scratching them. And they are the ones who created this campaign to get signatures to expel the furries from their school. Mm-hmm. And it was the kids, and they're like, this is really distracting. Like they're allowed to hiss at us and scratch us and bite us, but we're not allowed to do anything. And it's just like so cool to see the youth really standing up and doing something about it. Yep. And it's just really cool that anybody's standing up to do absolutely anything. And then there's the bill. Aaron, they're trying to push about we're not allowed to be we're not going to be allowed to say verses from the Bible. That Trudeau said that saying anything from the Bible is hate speech. And I'm like, oh, is the prosecution of the saints of the Christian people happening? Because that's a prophecy.
So you said that he's actually proposing that you can't share any scriptures from the Bible publicly anymore because it's hate speech. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's a bill coming through, and we don't know if it's going to get accepted.
Yeah, well, that would be interesting.
And if this bill goes through, then no one's like, personally, if I talk to you about Jesus or the Bible, you can then charge me. I can get I can go to prison, kind of like the other rules.
Good
like
luck
if
with
I
that
make
one.
you feel bad, you can literally throw me into prison. And then posting online is going to be an issue.
Well, I mean, Trudeau is strong enough to fight climate. I mean, he's able to fight the climate of a planet. Why not take on God at the same time? I mean, he could do that too, right? Like Trudeau, I got a lot of faith in this guy. He is superhuman. Like he can do all things, you know. So why not take on God? That's what I'd do if I was Trudeau. Like, isn't he God? Like, who's this other God to tell him what to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's good enough. Like, isn't there only supposed to be one God? And that's Trudeau? Like, why do you need another God, right?
Yeah,
Like, it's hate speech. Anything other than what Trudeau says is hate speech. That's what it comes down to, right? Because there's one God.
We've seen him lie to us over and over again.
No.
You know, and then he says he didn't lie, and then he says he didn't call us racists and bigots, and he didn't do these things. But we have these videos like showcasing.
Are you saying Trudeau lied?
Yeah.
No, really.
Yeah.
No, like he's told a lie once. He's
just
like
a couple times. I think
a couple times he's lied. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Really?
Definitely
A politician lying? I've never heard of that in my life.
Right?
Not even once. Like I never thought that was possible. I don't know. You need to show me some evidence at some point because this is mind blowing to a lot of people hearing this for the first time that a politician has lied, and especially Justin Trudeau. Like we need some evidence. So maybe over the weekend we'll need to, because there's a lot of people saying I don't believe you, Nick.
A lot of people would say that, but like now I just go in my mind. I'm like, well, I have nothing good to say right now about those people, but you probably followed the crowd when they told you to do something. So, you know, you probably use fluoride in your toothpaste. I'm just done talking.
So just read the label on the toothpaste. It says, if you swallow this toothpaste, consult a physician or go to emergency or something like that right away, because it's that harmful if you swallow toothpaste. It's on children's toothpaste. Read the label. Read the label of your toothpaste. It says, if swallowed, you need to consult a physician. Go to the hospital. And what do? You put fluoride in. You put toothpaste in your mouth. And what do kids do when it's a bubblegum toothpaste?
Gums, and it's instantly in your bloodstream.
Yeah, it gets absorbed by your body anyways. So it's just a weird world we live in. I just want to recognize those that are joining us today because there's quite a few on. So Judy's here. Good morning. Claire, good morning. Jerome, good morning, everyone. Liette, good morning from Collingwood. Sheila, morning. And Miles, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. Belinda, positive statement of the day. Good morning. Of all the evils of war, which we do have one now being started in the Middle East, the greatest is purely spiritual evil, the hatred, the injustices, and the repudiation of truth. The artificial conflict, yes. So you're already on board, Belinda. I didn't even read your statement of the day, but you're already kind of with us as usual with what, the theme, what we're talking about, and truth in general. A lot of people will say, what is truth? I remember this coming out of universities, right? There's no real truth. It's your truth. Whatever you believe is true. And
That's not true.
Nothing can be further from the truth from that. It's like, here's one example. I believe I can be naked in minus 50 degree temperature for 20 hours out in the elements. I believe that no harm will come to me. Good luck with that one. So your truth is not truth. It doesn't matter. Truth is separate from what you believe it is. And you talked about this, I think, the last show we were on. You kind of give your perspective on that. Truth and facts is the new conspiracy theory.
This is true.
Correct. And these are all comments before we were even talking about any of this stuff, so everyone's on the same page. David, good morning. Take care. Stay safe. Along as you as well, David. Anne-Marie, good morning. Thanks for being with us. Smiley emojis all over the place. Much appreciated from everyone. Denise, good morning from Espanola. Miles, again, they shouldn't say things they don't know about. A new arena like making loads of money off of it. Studies have shown it's simply not true. Speaking of truth, here we are. I guess that's the theme of today's show is truth. Whether it's an arena, speed cameras, politicians, climate change, which we'll get to a little bit later. Marianne says, good morning, everyone from Barrie, liked and shared as usual. Much appreciated, Marianne. Thank you. Monique, good day. Linda, good morning from River Valley. Good morning, Linda. Liette says, those visitors won't come back if you don't fix those roads. Sudbury roads are brutal. Oh, I hit a pothole the other day and I've been wondering when it's going to come up on the show. Calmo Hill, if you're coming towards towards Hanmer from town on Calmo Hill, there is the hugest pothole. It's on the second hill on the left tire on the driver's side, right where your tire would be. The other day, I don't know, I think I was just kind of in a bit of a daze, just listening to something, and it just woke me right up, man. I thought my whole axle fell off the car.
Oh my
when I hit
God.
this thing. It was bad. I thought I blew my tire and everything. Luckily, none of that happened, but it's a huge pothole. Yeah, so true. We got to fix the potholes. Come on. It's so simple. Like what? And there's patches of road too. Do you notice this? Like right on Calmo Hill, when you turn right onto Calmo Road and you could turn left onto Bodson, there's a little patch of road that's just full of potholes just as soon as you turn right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
I noticed that too.
And then once you get by that patch, it's pretty good. Like the rest of the road, there's no potholes hardly. But you know what? Look at the color of the asphalt compared to the asphalt after that patch. 2 different grades of asphalt.
Oh yeah, for sure.
One is so bad that it just it has to be full of potholes all the time. It's just that's all it is, potholes. It's maybe,
I know someone posted on Facebook. They're like, they literally fixed this pothole in front of my house and it lasted 4 days.
Because of the rain.
Yeah.
That rain we had totally, whatever potholes they fixed before that rain, they were all destroyed after the rain we had.
Don't they check the weather?
Exactly, yeah. I don't think so.
Matter.
I don't think so. I think they just they're on autopilot. They just go around fixing. Yeah, dirt roads I think are better. I think if you just keep all roads dirt roads, and just have water trucks going around spraying them so the dust doesn't fly all over all the time. Just have water trucks going around, just a little bit of water. Just go and take it out of the lake, and so you don't even doesn't even cost you any money for the water, and put it on the roads. So many comments coming in, but we have so much to talk about today on the show. I just want to get through everyone's comments. So make sure to continue to comment. So these speed cameras, have you gone by any of the roads yet with a speed camera on them yet?
Yeah. Like, have they moved?
No, not yet. They're going to be moving in like 4 months or something, 3 months. Because they're going 6 months at a time. They already have the signs up for the new locations where they're going to be going. And you can check out on the city's website where they are. And good morning, Mona. Thanks for being with us. So yeah, you can go on the city's website.
Yeah. Any of them actually working right now?
Yeah. The only 2 that have been messed with really are the Garson one and the Valcarin one. And again, it's mixed. People are for it.
Like you're putting it in front of Confed High School. Like, come on. Confed, no offense to Confed, but they always cause ruckus all the time.
I went to Confed, so I can second that for sure.
So keep putting them in front of high schools.
Yeah, not. So again, right? I didn't feel unsafe walking on the sidewalk of that road when I was going to high school. I didn't see any bad accidents there. As far as I know, no injuries or anything. So why are these speed cameras there, and why are they being told they're for our safety when we're not given any data ahead of time of how unsafe they were in the first place. We're just told people were speeding. Okay, I appreciate that. People were going over the speed limit.
It's true. I will say that I have slowed down.
Well, obviously, who wouldn't?
Right?
I'm not slowing down. I'm just going to get a ticket. I don't care. I'm going to pay the $200 or whatever. Well, who does that? That's what I mean. The city was saying, it's a success. We find people are slowing down. See, it works. It's like, duh. It's like, look, I got a gun to his forehead and he did what I told him. Look, it works. Okay. Wow, that's great. Wouldn't it be great if he would have done something without you having to do that? Or was it so bad what he was doing in the first place that you needed to put a gun to his head in the first place? Wasn't life okay anyways? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I do know there's a lot of people out there complaining, right? Oh, I see people are speeding all the time. People are speeding. You know what I mean? Okay. All right. Yeah. Complain. Because why don't you raise the speed limit then? Like that would be one solution, right? Yeah. Could it have been? Like, isn't that an option? And like people are speeding
over that speeding limit.
Maybe it's showing you something how our society has changed. Maybe because of all the inflation, people work 3 jobs now.
Well, this is true.
Maybe they got to finish one job and quickly get to another job. And they have to go a little faster safely, because if we don't see the stats that are showing us there's all these new accidents or fatalities or injuries due to collisions on our roads due to these extra speeds that people are speeding. Like that's what they need to do. They need to say, we've been noticing extra speeders on our roadways, and you can see through the data, there's been more accidents and there's been fatalities and there's been injuries due to the speed. But if there was none of that, then you say, wow, people are going faster. We know that because we're getting all the data. We know we've been monitoring these streets. People are going faster, and no more accidents, no more injuries.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Maybe we can raise the speed limit a bit. Maybe we can help the flow of traffic and whatever in the city, make it easier for people to get around with 3 jobs. You know what I mean? Who need to pay 2.5 times more at the grocery store and $1.80 something at the gas pumps, and all these things. No. We're going to put speed cameras in. We're going to penalize you, and you can't get to your next job on time. So maybe you'll have to cut that other job because you're not able to do it anymore. You're not able to get from your job in the valley to the one in South End because that's the only 2 jobs you can get on time. So you have to cut it out. So maybe you can go on welfare. Go on welfare. That's a good idea.
That's what they want.
That's a great idea. This kind of socialistic, communistic government type of thinking. And even if you think you're not a socialist or you're not communist, and if you think like that, you have the mind virus and you don't realize you have the mind virus, and you think these kinds of things, just really, you can kind of give your head a shake and shake yourself out of it. It's really not too hard to start thinking differently, start thinking, common sense.
Yeah.
No? You don't see common sense out there?
Someone told me once, hey, Nick, you should watch this Netflix video about conspiracy theories. And I'm like, they probably told you what you wanted to hear. And he was just so involved. And I'm like, dude, you think like everybody else. Do you not think there's a problem with that?
Yeah.
And then I just felt like not really Christ-like, because I was just not really arguing, but kind of insulting this person. And I was just like, you know what? It's just, I'm like, dude, you annoy me all the time. You constantly comment on my stuff, the opposite all the time, but it's what everyone else is saying. Just don't comment on my stuff. It's just so annoying. And
so this person's like, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. I see you all the time. Well, Netflix has a great documentary on conspiracy theories. Well, they'll set you right if you watch that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, he was all for COVID and all for the vaccine. And I'm like, and now he's not. I'm like, dude, do you not see what happens? He's like, no, I now see things. I'm like, okay, do you think it just stops there? Like, hey, guys, give yourself a shake. If they could do that with COVID, you don't think they've been doing that with us our whole entire life? And afterwards, they just started lying to us. They just started having all these other agendas. No, man, this has been going on for years and years and years and years. And he's like, it was just, now I just don't respond. I just ignore.
it's really hard to get news these days, like real news. And that allows then for conspiracy theories like we were talking about before, right? If you don't have transparency, people will try and fill in the blanks themselves. And so whose fault is it that there's conspiracy theories in the first place? It's those that are in charge of things that aren't transparent, first of all. So let's just put the onus on whose fault it is anyways. If there is a bunch of information going on out there that people don't like and you say it's not true, well, that's because the real truth is not put out there. It's for example, how much did it cost us to hire and then let go the CAO or whatever that we hired, who was from out west, who was supposed to work for the city? Remember, you could work from home during the pandemic. Girl? Yeah, so they hired this lady from Alberta, and she was going to work from Alberta, and people from the city went, "Huh? You can't do that. You got to hire someone from the city." And but the city wouldn't release how much they paid to get out of that whole contract, kind of thing. Like why? Like what? Like what? We're not mature enough to know like how much it costs the city. How much did it cost the whole? I saw because the new arena announcement. Peter Glass, who's comments more than I've ever seen anybody comment on news, said, we want to know the entire cost of what KED cost the city. Because we all wanted it on the Kingsway, or at least city council voted to put it on the Kingsway. So there was costs involved with the studies and giving the contract to people. And there were a lot of workers hired. There was trees cleared. There was all kinds of studies done. What is the entire cost to the city from that? You know what I mean? But we won't know. We're not able to be told this.
Right.
Even in the day of like you said, you can have a website totally with all the information on it, which every individual can just go on. Okay, how much money are we collecting? How much money went out and for what? Totally there. Like, but no. So now people speculate. They go, oh, that's because the mayor's in bed with this guy and this is happening. And people fill in the blanks. And then they go, well, how dare people talk about us like that? It's like,
exactly. If your partner doesn't want to show you his phone or her phone.
Exactly.
They're hiding something. There's secrets.
They don't come home till 1 a.m. and you're like, where were you? Oh, I can't remember. I don't recall. That's not a red flag.
Game, you know?
Yeah, that's not a red flag.
So in my calendar, I have here April 5th. It said 1 year talking about promises that we talked about a year ago about how the healthcare, we were promised for better healthcare and get grocery store rebates. And I have an article linked, and it was Sede Budget 2023, a win for Nickel Belt Greater Sudbury. And that he has all these promises about these grocery store rebates.
Definitely needed now.
In terms of healthcare, Sadie pointed to a budget of on $198 billion to reduce backlogs, expand access to family health services. Anyways, I wonder where that's it.
I'm glad you went back to that because we're talking about the budget this year because it just came out this Tuesday. So that's all we're talking about. But you actually went back to an article that was talking about the former budget and all these promises that were made. So I'd like to ask everyone now, if you've had anything to do with healthcare, have you noticed the backlogs have gone down since Mark Sede promised that last year with that bill? How much? $1.9 billion? Yeah.
So inflation relief for 11 million Canadians and families with up to an additional $467 eligible couples for children, and additional, some $100 there. Okay. 198 billions to reduce backlogs, expand access to family health services, ensure provinces and territories can provide high quality
healthcare. All the promises that they usually make.
So right? I will say something. There is a system now that if you make less than so much money, you can get free dental care for your kids, where that was never a possibility. So I am seeing that. It's called Healthy Smiles, and you can call Service Ontario and get a card, and then you have to go to a proper dentist where they take this card.
Yeah.
And
what people don't understand is this federal government, they're going, oh, we're so happy we're going to roll out dental care for everybody. And what you just said is it already exists. And then these lunch programs and things, a lot of them already exist, but they're so happy to spend billions of dollars and say they have these new programs, which are already in place, like Healthy Smiles. Like
Look
there
at
is
this.
already dental care for kids.
Sede also cited 500 million investments in the Strategic Innovation Fund to support the development and application of clean technologies in Canada. What does that mean, guys? 500 million to that. Do we need this? No, man, we need food.
Yeah, I know.
And we need housing. We don't need new technologies. The Strategic Innovation Fund will also direct 1.5 billion to its existing resources towards projects in sectors including clean technologies. Why do we care about clean technologies right now? Critical materials and industrial transformation. This says nothing to me.
Because the planet is going to blow up if we don't do something about it right now.
And he's saying he's going to give our already 1.5 billion to existing resources that aren't working, obviously.
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure. There's lots of billions going on around, and someone's getting those billions, and who are they?
So this is an article written a year ago that I saved in my phone for
I'm glad
today.
you did. I'm glad you did.
Funny.
That's so awesome. But it's all because the climate, right? Like the world is about to blow up. Like really, if you look at it, like we need to do something now. That was funny.
That is funny.
This is funny because I have the video I wanted to play. I wanted to make it bigger.
Okay.
But Facebook wants to tell me that fact checkers, independent fact checkers, have fact checked this video. So everybody just know this. This is like the warning people give you ahead of time about a disclaimer. This video might have nudity or swearing or whatever. Well,
Now
this
it's like-
video has been fact checked by Facebook independent fact checkers, and they make it almost impossible to make it a maximum screen with hitting it 50 million times. But the planet is about to blow up, and that's why we need to spend all these billions of dollars on this. So I promised this documentary earlier this week on real scientists, world-renowned scientists talking about the climate. And if you want real answers, if you just want not so real answers, keep listening to CBC. But if you really want real answers from real scientists, just take a little peek at this documentary for a sec. We'll be back right after this. We'll just have a teaser, maybe about 10 minutes of it or whatever. We'll be back right after that. It sounds
People
pretty
are
epic.
dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you!
This is the story of how an eccentric environmental scare grew into a powerful global industry.
It's a wonderful business opportunity, okay? You want climate, we'll give you climate.
There's a huge amount of money involved. This is a huge, big money scam.
There are not just now billions, but there are trillions of dollars at stake.
It's a story of self-interest and big government funding.
People like me, our careers depend on funding of climate research. This is what I've been doing just about my whole career. This is what the other climate researchers are doing with their whole career. They don't want this to end.
If CO2 isn't having the huge negative impacts that we claimed it was having originally, how are we going to stay in business?
A lot of people's livelihoods depend on it. They're not going to give that up.
This is a story of the corruption of science.
There's no such thing as a climate emergency happening on this planet now. There's no evidence of one.
The climate alarm is nonsense, it's a hoax. I've never liked hoax. I think scam is a better word, but I'm willing to live with hoax.
It's a story about the bullying and intimidation of anyone who dares to challenge the climate alarm.
To speak up against or about climate change in any sort of skeptical way was essentially career suicide.
Activists are even calling for any skepticism to be criminalized.
It's the story of an assault on individual freedom.
It's a wonderful way to increase government power. If there's an existential threat out there that's worldwide, well, you need a powerful worldwide government, to cope with it.
We see all these kind of authoritarian measures being adopted in the name of saving the planet.
You've suddenly got the population under control all over the world.
We called it industrial progress. Since the Industrial Revolution, the development of free market capitalist mass production has made ever more goods ever more affordable to ever larger numbers of people. Mass production marched hand in hand with mass consumption. In the modern age, ordinary people enjoy a level of prosperity never before achieved in human history. But all the while, we're told we were destroying the planet. Computers have calculated what is in store for us as we produce and consume ever more. The weather will get worse. The planet will boil. We greedy humans must accept limits on our lifestyle. Consume less, travel less. Those who deny the climate crisis are not just wrong, they're dangerous, spreading the poison of doubt among a gullible population. These deniers should be shunned and shamed and censored. For these climate deniers are flat earthers. They are anti-science. Teaching at New York University is one of these climate deniers. Professor Stephen Koonin is one of America's leading physicists. He was a science advisor to President Obama and both vice president and provost of Caltech, one of the most prestigious scientific institutes in the world.
I teach climate science to my students at NYU, and I always tell them, check the data or the papers yourself. And they all come out of that course with their eyes wide open.
Professor Koonin's best-selling book, Unsettled, argues that mainstream scientific studies, accepted by official agencies, do not support the notion that there is any kind of climate crisis at all.
Of course, I've been called a denier. And my response is, tell me what I'm denying, because I'm quoting from you directly from the official UN scientific reports.
Dick Lindzen also dismisses the claims of climate alarmists. He's one of the world's leading meteorologists, was professor of meteorology at both Harvard University and MIT, and has served on the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC.
Even the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, if you go to their section of Working One, Group 1, which is the science, they don't support any of these claims. And I assure you, having served on it, it's biased, but you couldn't get any real scientists to agree some of the nonsense that's being promoted.
Will Happer is also a denier and is another of America's leading physicists. He has been science advisor to 3 presidents and professor of physics at both Columbia and Princeton University.
There's this mischievous idea that's promoted that scientific truth is determined by consensus. In real science, there are always arguments. No science is ever settled. It just is absurd when people say the science of climate is settled. It's not. There's no such thing as settled science, especially climate.
Dr. John Clauser is one of the most respected scientists in the world. In 2022, he was awarded the Nobel Prize for Physics.
The science that's being done is appallingly bad, in my opinion. There are a large number of scientists who are in violent disagreement. They refer to themselves as skeptics. Since I am no longer worried about losing funding or a job, whatever, I call myself a climate change denier.
These very eminent and respected scientists, and others like them, are not flat earthers. They do not deny science. So what's the evidence that has caused them to dismiss the climate alarm as nonsense? We are told that current temperatures are unprecedented and dangerously high. It's possible to check if this is true, because we have evidence of Earth's climate history dating back hundreds, thousands, even millions of years. The desert of Judea by the Dead Sea. Professor Nir Shavi from the Raqqa Institute of Physics has come here looking for clues. Thousands of years ago, this place was underwater, and etched into the rocks are lines which, if you know how to read them, tell the story of Earth's climate history.
And here's the climate. We're at the lake bed of what used to be Lake Lisan. It's a lake that existed until the end of the last ice age. Back then, the lake level was maybe 100 meters above where we're located. When we want to reconstruct climates of the past, we have to look for evidence, for clues. And when the lake existed, it had deposits. And by looking at these layers here, we can actually reconstruct how the climate has changed.
Warmer water means more life, the accumulation of more shells and bones from sea creatures, and other changes that are reflected in the ancient layers of the lake bed. The lines act as a kind of thermometer, and this is just one way geologists can reconstruct past climate.
In other places, we can go to stalagmite caves and see the annual rings that you have in the stalagmites, or we can drill cores from the bottom of the ocean and then look at layers there, or many other places. But here, I think this is one of the nicest places because you can actually see how the climate has changed.
So when we look back in time, what do we find? For 200 million years, dinosaurs roamed the Earth. An Earth marked by fertile, dense forests, teeming with life. And at no time during those 200 million years were temperatures as cold as they are today.
If you go back, let's say, 200 million years, it was maybe 13 degrees warmer than it is now. So, on the geological perspective, this is not at all unprecedented.
For the last 500 million years, temperatures have varied greatly. But for almost all that time, the Earth was much, much warmer than today. Compared to the last 500 million years, the Earth right now is exceptionally cold. In fact, there are very few times when it's been this cold.
We're relatively cold. Maybe not quite the coldest it's been in 500 million years, but pretty close to it.
We are in a remarkably cool period if we look over the last 550 million years. In fact, only one other time period in that last 550 million years was the temperature as cool as it is now.
The mammals who now inhabit the Earth began to evolve around 60 million years ago, when the world was much warmer than today.
If we just look at the last 65 million years, so this is after the dinosaurs go extinct, mammals really start to take over, and our evolutionary ancestors start to live on the land. Any time period within the last 65 million years was warmer than it is essentially today.
The Earth's mammals, humans included, appear to thrive when it's warm, warmer than it is now.
There's no doubt that warm is better than cold in geological history. We are a tropical species. A human being in the shade, naked, dies at 20 C from hypothermia. We evolved on the equator in Africa, and the only reason we were able to get out of there eventually was fire, shelter, and clothing.
Over the last 50 million years, temperatures steadily declined, plunging the Earth into what geologists call the late Cenozoic Ice Age. We are still in that ice age.
The reason there's all that ice on the poles is because we're in an ice age. Everybody knows that who knows anything about the history of the Earth. This is an ice age. We're at the tail end of a 50 million year cooling period, and they're saying it's too hot.
So there you go. So
we're in an ice age.
Yeah. So again, this is, and they said any scientist knows this, right? So what scientists are saying anything different? These scientists don't sound like what you hear on CBC radio or CBC TV, which our tax money is paying for. And our tax money is paying for certain scientists to just say things different than what these world-renowned scientists are saying, right? So doesn't it?
What show is this?
It's a documentary. It's like an hour and 20-minute long documentary. It was really hard to open to begin with. Facebook made it incredibly hard. Then all the fact checker things came on. Like, Oh yeah, this Nobel Prize winning scientist cannot be saying the truth. A Facebook fact checker knows more than a Nobel Prize scientist does.
Yes,
right?
of course.
But we don't know who that fact checker is, so we don't know their credentials.
What's the name of it?
I don't know the name of it, but I'll see if I can get it and share it. Anybody who's interested, I don't know if I put it on my Facebook page, they might.
Flag, yeah.
Yeah, they might shut my whole Facebook down or whatever, which is eventually going to happen anyways, and we know that at some point. But so far, so good. It just feels good to hear truth, right? Like, and in there, I knew they were saying some things that weren't true as well. Like, I know truths that, not everybody agrees with and things. And they were saying certain things about our history and whatever, and the evolution of human beings that I have a different perspective on. And I'm okay with that. But by and large, as it comes to the climate, you can't deny when they're talking about how they get the climate data, when they look at where the oceans used to be, and it's all encapsulated in rock and in our, it's just there. You can tell what climate used to be. And they went back millions of years. And like they said, it used to be way warmer, 13 degrees warmer than it is now. We're in the tail end of an ice age. So of course it's going to be getting warmer because we're coming out of an ice age, basically. So that's the real science. I just appreciate hearing real truth. It just feels good. Feels good to just hear that. And Miles agrees.
The cold truth.
The cold, hard truth. Hey, Miles. And we're in a world where we're not going to know right from wrong, truth from error, coming up with the advent of AI. People are going to be just not knowing what to believe, and it's just going to be crazy. So make sure you kind of have your head on straight now before we even get into some weirder times.
Did you guys see how... where is it? There's like a big flood happening in Saudi Arabia.
No.
Yeah, huge flood.
Really? In Saudi Arabia, in the desert?
In the desert. But they do a lot of seed
cloud seeding,
farming,
weather
cloud
manipulation, geoengineering.
So,
yes.
If you look into it, their airport looks like an ocean right now.
Wow.
Yeah, there's tons of water over there.
And that's right in the general vicinity of where we have all this unrest and a war I think it might have already started. Last night we were paying attention to some of the things. Oh, it's in Dubai.
In Dubai,
says,
thank you.
Yeah. Ooh, in Dubai of all places. Ouch. That's like the place for the world elite.
Yeah.
That's their playground. That's a interesting place to have the flood.
Right.
But Mark Sadeh knows climate better than these hack scientists. That's from Jerome. Yeah. So thanks, everyone. Yeah, for everybody knows it's Dubai. That's awesome. The thing with our audience, and Nick, they're very on top of half the things we talk about here. I'm like, well, they know more than what I'm sharing anyways. But I share it because it's public enough radio, it's community radio, and someone might be just switching through the station at some point and hear this stuff for the first time.
It's also nice and confirming.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Yeah, 100%.
That we're like, okay, we are on the right track. Because when COVID was going on, I was like, Nick, are you losing it? Is it a possibility that you're losing it? Because everyone's talking against you. And sometimes I was questioning things. And then in the end, the truth always comes out. And I was like, okay, no, I was on it. It's just when so many people tell you that you are a grandma killer and that you're doing bad things, then you start second guessing things. It's just natural.
Yeah, when you know enough truth, there is a sense of isolation with that. You do feel like you're alone a lot of times. And that's why I think just being able to get and this is basically what news should be in the first place, or could have been all these years, is just really trying to get to the bottom of truth and doing it as a community like we're doing now, where people can engage with the content and have a discussion. I think this is, if it's allowed to be on, it would be the way of the future if we didn't have a tyrannical world kind of movement that wants to shut it down kind of thing.
Discover what the truth is. That should be the ultimate goal. Are we on the radio?
Yep.
Okay, you're back on the radio. Cool.
Oh yeah, it's been they were hacked. We were off for like 2.5 weeks or whatever, but then that was the extent of it. We're back on now, but we are done the show today because of the time. But it's just the way things go. You know, this hour goes by way too fast, right?
Too fast.
Every morning. So thanks, Nick, for joining us. Hopefully, you're welcome to come on Monday as well if you're able to. But who knows? You're welcome to come on anytime. Just like this morning, you texted me 5 minutes before the show came on and said, I'm coming on. So,
like, I knew I was coming on like a half an hour before that.
Oh, okay. Well,
because I had to get ready, and brush my hair, wash my face.
Well, I'm glad you let me know because I had to open the link for you. So,
oh, good.
I appreciate that. And everyone else appreciates you as well, as I know, because all the love comments come in all the time for you when you're on the show, and really appreciate it. And we really appreciate all of you guys weighing in on the conversation. Yeah. Thank you so much. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily and have a wonderful, safe, and enjoyable weekend, everyone. And we'll see you same time, same place Monday. Have a good weekend, Nick.
Thank you. You too. Bye, guys.
Ciao, everyone. Bye.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.